You are listening to Matchpoint Canada, the official podcast of Tennis Canada. And just ahead of Team Canada's Davis Cup tie in Manchester, United Kingdom, so happy to speak with Canadian Gabriel Diallo, who's just coming off a career best run at the US Open, has a new career high ranking, and of course, representing Canada again at Davis Cup. Gabriel, so happy to chat with you again. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be here and excited to get things going against Argentina.
Yeah, I'd love to get into Davis Cup, of course, and you've had a chance to represent Canada a number of times. But we have to look back, obviously, on what must have been such a special experience for you at Flushing Meadows, the U.S. Open, not only qualifying for the Grand Slam main draw, but getting your first main draw win, advancing to the third round. Maybe just reflect on those past couple of weeks in New York, how special that was for you.
Oh, it was special. It was the reward for putting up good matches this summer and a lot of hard work that my team and I have been putting on for the last couple of months. It was special. Just thinking about those times, it's what you work for. It's to position yourself to try and get those big wins. And luckily, I was able to qualify and then get my first win, which is obviously not easy. And then carry the momentum into the third round. And I think this summer I played a lot of tennis and managed to put up a lot of good matches consistently. And luckily, I was able to do that at the US Open. I played 6 matches, and the 6 matches, I thought especially obviously the last one I lost, but I thought I gave myself a chance to still, try to win this thing. So very happy with the level, and hopefully I can carry on the momentum to finish the year.
Yeah, I want to talk about a couple of the main draw wins, but before I get there, even in qualifying, I remember in one of your qualifying matches, you were right on the brink of elimination there, down a set, down a break. What was maybe going through your mind at that time? Were you thinking, well, this is where I make my exit, or how did you sort of overcome that moment?
Yeah, it wasn't easy. It was the second round. I saved 2 match points. I started to, feel a little bit, uh, felt tired, because it was, like I said, I played a lot this summer. So, mentally I was a little less sharp than usual, but I stayed composed. I didn't freak out. I knew that if I could just maybe break back in the second and just give myself a chance to go up in the score, maybe it would put pressure on him because he was leading the whole match. He won the first quite easily, and then in the second got the break early and carried it towards the end. But I knew that if I could just break back and hold, it would be huge, and that's what I was able to do. And then at 5-5, I broke him and got the lead for the first time in the match, and then I never looked back. From that point, I just played better and better. So I think that getting over that match and just fighting away, even though I wasn't playing my best, was a key to the run that I had.
I'm glad you said composed because I feel like from watching the way you competed and carried yourself, particularly in the main draw, your composure was phenomenal. And we look at that second round win over Frenchman Arthur Fils. First of all, what was that atmosphere like on court 17? Just seemed absolutely electric. And how did you kind of stay composed in those key moments where you have a top 25 player, pushing back and applying pressure?
Yeah, the crowd was made the match very electric for me, and I assume for him as well. They were cheering both ways. There was a lot of Canadians, so I definitely felt the support on my side. And when he won the second set, especially the way he did with the tweener and then hit a beautiful passing shot to go up like 6-3 in the breaker, crowd went nuts. No, it was a fun atmosphere. It was a late afternoon. It wasn't too hot, so a lot of people came out to support and watch. And it's a reward for the hard work that we put in. We want to put ourselves in those matches where a lot of people are watching, and you get to showcase your skills and your competitive skills. And luckily, I was able to do that. And yeah, how I stayed composed. You can't really prepare yourself for those type of moments like serving for the match or something like that. you just try to control what you can and try to come up with a game plan and take your focus away from the nerves. But I mean, everyone feels the nerves, regardless of the level. So luckily, I was able to convert this time, but there've been multiple times before where I got broken because I felt maybe nervous or I didn't play well that game, or the guy played very well, and luckily to close out, I played a very good game.
Last time we actually had you on this podcast was 2 summers ago when you were here in Toronto and recorded a huge top 25 win over Dan Evans at that time. I'm wondering, you told me back then sort of all those experiences were new for you. How much do you maybe feel you've grown these past 2 summers, say, looking back at a moment like that and looking back at what you just did at the U.S. Open?
Yeah, I mean, it's only my second year on tour, so there's still like you said, it was my first main draw win. There's still some firsts, but I would say that I'm less, I'm more unfazed with the moment because I've been through a lot of big moments, whether it was watching from the sideline in Davis Cup and learning a lot, or even playing Davis Cup last year. Alexi and I and Vasek had to step up because Felix and Dennis were injured. In February when I played home in Davis Cup in Montreal, I've been in those positions multiple times, so I would say that I'm more accustomed, and I kind of know what to expect. And the experience that I gained from 2 summers ago in 2023 helped me a lot to manage matches, and whether it's big matches like against FIS or even in challengers, how to manage when I'm up a break, when I'm down a break, when I win the first and I'm up a break. And just I played so many matches that I faced so many different situations. Now I have more I'm more how can I say, I'm more ready for any situations.
We'll get into this Davis Cup roster and your chances, but just a thought now with this new career high ranking, you're just outside the top 100, 103. How does that maybe change your outlook on the calendar for the rest of 2024? Do you see yourself maybe competing in ATP 250s and 500s and playing some of these bigger events?
Yeah, I think you play it to position, like I said, to position yourself into those bigger tournaments, like the U.S. Open, or even when I got a walker in Montreal. So yeah, change a little bit. We try to add Shanghai, and then see, depending on the cuts and the list, where I can get in and stuff. And yeah, just keep the same approach as we had since the beginning of my pro career, because it seems to be working quite well. So adjust a little bit, and if the ranking goes down or if the level goes down, adjust and go back to challengers and just see from there.
And now Davis Cup, huge week for Canada in the group stage. And the last time you guys had this roster with Felix, Dennis, Vasek, Alexi, you were world champions back in 2022. What's the feeling, the vibe, and the comfort level like to be on this roster with talents like Felix and Dennis, knowing how far Alexi's come in his career, a veteran like Vasek? What's the expectation, I suppose?
I mean, for me, it's a privilege. It's always a privilege and an honor to get called up for Davis Cup. It's, like I said multiple times, it's something that I dreamed of when I was younger, and watching guys like Milos and Vasek carried away and bringing us to the World Group, which we are now, and we haven't left since. So it's a huge honor, and like you said, you mentioned the guys that are on the team. It's Felix, Dennis, Vasek, Alexius. The pinnacle of Canadian tennis. So for me, it's an honor, and I think the expectations, we try to do what we can, and obviously we go with the mindset of winning, especially in this surface, which on paper favor us because we grew up playing on this surface indoor hard. But obviously tennis now, players are much more complete than before. So even a team like Argentina is still extremely dangerous on this surface. So we're gonna go a match at a time, a set at a time, a point at a time, and do what we control, and hopefully qualify for the final phases in Malaga.
And having a captain like Frank Dantovic, obviously he was on the sidelines for that huge historic win in 2022. He was on the sidelines just back in February in 2020 of this year when you guys advanced past Korea. What are some of the key assets he brings to your group in making sure he gets the best out of you guys?
Hey, first of all, he brings a lot of experience because he was himself a great player, a Davis Cup player. So, he's been through the grind of playing for Canada, and I think he's very good with managing emotions. It's always more tense, more excitements when you play Davis Cup. So he's been very good with that, and it's just off court, very relaxed, very laid back. We can all sit there and have a laugh and have a good banter between us. So I think the team chemistry is phenomenal. For myself, I always look forward to those weeks because it's changes the dynamic a little bit from the tour. I'm with my buddies, and we don't take ourselves too seriously, and we have a good time. And then on court, of course, we're going to compete our butts off and always give ourselves a chance to win.
And just before we wrap, a couple thoughts on your opponents. I mean, this is you guys have a formidable team, but this is clearly a strong group in front. Argentina, who you mentioned, who has some really talented players like Sebastian Baez. Finland is there. Great Britain, who just had a semifinalist at the U.S. Open in Jack Draper. What types of challenges do these three countries pose?
No, I think we definitely have a tough group. At this stage of the competition, every group is tough. England playing on with, like you said, Draper just came off of the semifinal of U.S. Open. They have Henry Batten, who just won Wimbledon in doubles. You've got Dan Evans, who's played a lot of Davis Cups and knows how to play the game and has a lot of experience. And a great captain like Leon Smith playing home is going to be tricky. We've got Finland, who Virtanen, who's been playing very well, and Heluvara, who won playing with Patton, won the Wimbledon, sorry.
Yeah.
And they've got some great talents on their roster, and obviously Argentina, they got a couple guys top 40. Even on a surface like this, they're still extremely dangerous. So the levels there. I think it's going to be good if a lot of people can come out, because I think there's going to be some very high level matches. And on our part, we're going to do what we do well, take our game to our opponents like we did in 2022, and give ourselves a chance to go at the cup again.
Well, Gabriel, thanks so much for taking some time. It's been awesome to see your ascent this season. Congrats on a phenomenal U.S. Open, and let's keep it going for the rest of the year.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.